Today we profile John Fitzgerald Kennedy, aka JFK. He was the 35th President of the United States of America. During his inaugural address on January 20th, 1961, he famously said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." His presidency, though tragically cut short by his assassination in 1963, is remembered for its idealism, leadership during moments of crisis, and a lasting impact on American society. It was Camelot. John F. Kennedy was born on May 29, 1917, in Brookline, Massachusetts, to a wealthy and influential family. His father, Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., was a successful businessman, and his mother, Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, came from a prominent political family. JFK was the second of 9 children, and his family was deeply involved in politics and public service. His older brother, Joseph Jr., was originally considered the heir apparent to the Kennedy political dynasty. But his tragic death during World War II changed the family's trajectory and paved the way for John to assume that role. Kennedy attended prestigious schools and universities. He went to Harvard University, where he graduated with a degree in international affairs in 1940. His years at Harvard were marked by his interest in history and politics, and his senior thesis on Britain's strategy in World War II, later published as the book Why England Slept, earned attention and recognition. Kennedy's early academic career was often marked by illness and a sense of living in his older brother's shadow, but he gradually came into his own as a leader amongst his peers. JFK's early life was marred by illness, particularly chronic back problems that plagued him throughout his life. However, his sense of duty and patriotism led him to join the U.S. Navy during World War II. In 1941, he was commissioned as a lieutenant in the Navy and assigned to command a PT boat in the Pacific Theater. Kennedy's most famous military experience came in 1943, when his boat PT-109 was rammed by a Japanese destroyer and sunk. Kennedy's heroic actions in saving his crew members, despite his own injuries, earned him several military honors, including the Navy and Marine Corps Medal. Kennedy's experience during the war shaped his political worldview, making him a strong advocate for the United States' role in international affairs and helping him connect with voters during his political career. After the war, Kennedy turned to politics, entering the House of Representatives in 1947 as a Democrat from Massachusetts. His time in the House was marked by his growing interest in foreign policy, especially the challenges of the Cold War, and his advocacy for labor rights and health care reform. Kennedy's articulate speeches, youthful energy, and rising star status made him a notable figure in Washington. In 1952, Kennedy successfully ran for the U.S. Senate, defeating incumbent Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. His campaign showcased his charismatic personality and appealed to a broad range of voters, especially in the working-class neighborhoods of Boston. In the Senate, Kennedy gained a reputation as a strong voice on issues such as civil rights, international relations, and military preparedness, while also becoming increasingly critical of the Eisenhower administration's handling of the Cold War. While in the Senate, Kennedy published his book, Profiles in Courage, which won a Pulitzer Prize. Kennedy's ambition did not stop at the Senate. By the late 1950s, he has set his sights on the presidency. His decision to run for president in 1960 was shaped by his belief that the United States was at a crossroads, especially in its dealings with the Soviet Union and in navigating the Cold War. Kennedy faced a fierce primary challenge from fellow Democrats Hubert Humphrey and Adlai Stevenson, but emerged as the party's candidate after a tense and competitive race. In accepting the presidential nomination, Kennedy gave his well-known New Frontier speech. For the problems are not all solved, and the battles are not all won. And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
But the new frontier of which I speak is not a set of promises. It is a set of challenges. It sums up not what I intend to offer to the American people, but what I intend to ask of them.
The 1960 presidential election against Vice President Richard Nixon was one of the closest in American history. Kennedy's youth, charm, and television presence were vital factors in his victory. His first ever televised debate with Nixon, widely regarded as a turning point in the campaign, showcased his ability to connect with the American people and help them secure a narrow victory. On January 20th, 1961, John F. Kennedy was sworn in as the 35th President of the United States. He was the first Roman Catholic and youngest person elected president at age 43. Kennedy's presidency was marked by his ambitious domestic and foreign policy goals, encapsulated in his vision of the new frontier. His agenda included significant proposals for civil rights legislation, space exploration, healthcare, education, and tax cuts. He presided over the establishment of the Peace Corps and the Alliance for Progress with Latin America. Kennedy was a vigorous advocate for a strong, modern federal government that could address the needs of the American people while confronting global challenges. One of Kennedy's most important domestic achievements was his support for civil rights movement. In 1963, he called for comprehensive civil rights legislation, marking a turning point in his administration's commitment to racial equality. His advocacy, though met with resistance, helped pave the way for the Civil Rights Act of 1964, passed after his death. In foreign policy, Kennedy faced a series of high-stakes crises, the most notable being the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. When the Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from the U.S. coast, the world teetered on the brink of nuclear war. Kennedy's leadership and negotiation skills during this 13-day standoff averted disaster, earning him widespread acclaim and solidifying his reputation as a strong but cautious leader. Kennedy also laid the foundation for the U.S. space program. In 1961, he announced his goal of landing an American on the moon by the end of the decade. This bold vision became a national priority and was realized in 1969 after his death with the successful Apollo 11 mission.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
On November 22nd, 1963, President Kennedy was assassinated while riding in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas. His death shocked the nation and the world. Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested for the crime, though conspiracy theories about the assassination persist to this day. Kennedy's death marked the end of an era of youthful optimism and idealism for many Americans. John F. Kennedy's legacy lives on in American political culture and global diplomacy. He is remembered for his eloquent speeches, his call for public service in his famous Ask Not, What Your Country Can Do for You inaugural address and his efforts to advance civil rights, space exploration, and global peace. Here are some quotes by John F. Kennedy. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Inaugural address, January 20th, 1961. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. Do not pray for easy lives. Pray to be stronger men. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Here's a letter he wrote to his Aunt Loretta. Dear Aunt Loretta, many thanks for your nice note. You might tell George that his old roommate, Art Cornell, was extremely kind to us when he had us out to Indianapolis recently to the Legions. He is a great fellow. Hope you are well. Am always running into old friends of yours in Boston who tell me you were always a darling. Love, Jack. Although his time in office was brief, his leadership during moments of crisis, his vision for a better world, and his enduring symbol as a beacon of hope and possibility continued to influence generations of Americans and people around the world. That's the story of John F. Kennedy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these messages of inspiration and hope, please like, subscribe, and/or share them with family and friends. And until we meet again, please remember, with God, anything is possible. Spahom.